Hey, Podcast America. Welcome to episode 48 of the Enlightened Neanderthals podcast. And let's talk about Training Northwest first. We've got our full calendar up on the website, trainingnorthwestllc.com. Range training in Snohomish County, Washington, as well as, if you're not local, we are a dealer of Vortex Optics. We've got quite a few up there right now. A couple new ones, the Defender ST, which is the pistol red, or I should say the micro red dot that's for full-size pistols. Also works very well on shotguns and as a 45 offset or over-the-top auxiliary to your LPVO, which is how I use it, as well as...
I do think that the emitter in that is
better. Is it? Okay.
I like it.
Well, there you go. It's an improvement on past models. So we've got a couple in stock. You can get them at our website. You can sign up for training there. Also, the Rifleman Camp will be coming up in August. The 3-day intro to
Grown Man Summer Camp.
Grown Man Summer Camp. That's exactly what it is. But we take it pretty seriously, or I should say I take it pretty seriously. Everybody took it pretty seriously. Yeah. It's a intro to the idea. It's built around the Minuteman idea, which is that non-professional soldiers who take it upon themselves to be ready to defend their communities and their families at a minute's notice. And so we kind of start you down the path of everything you need to know for that purpose. I can't think of anything else. Training Northwest. Let's get into the Electric North podcast universe.
Everything.
Yep.
Endless Endeavor with Greg Anderson.
Tyler Stanaway with the Compassionate Viking.
Stones and Bones. Christy Campbell with
Coffee Talk.
Danny Leyland, the White Belt Mafia.
And Aloha, my friend. Island Vibe.
What we got? Patriotic Islander with Will.
Will.
Throwing down.
Our
which
favorite.
is, it's going great. Still haven't been invited on. Thanks, Will.
All right, this show, we didn't even have a theme. We just kind of hit record.
Hey.
Go ahead.
I think the theme was 1022, was it not?
Well,
theme in the second half. These sausages are amazing, by the way.
Project 223 and Brent.
Oh.
Let's throw him in there.
Yeah, because you tried.
What's that?
You tried hard.
I tried hard.
I
did the best I could.
You tried hard to be a good representative.
We're transing.
Yeah, we're transing.
I'm transing, and that includes language.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it.
We're sorry, Brent, for if we failed you, but we tried hard.
I'm transing into enjoying the sauce.
Yeah. Anywho, what else we got? Is that it? So this podcast...
Jiu-Jitsu, centers of gravity, 1022s.
I feel like it was mainly, let's just say 1022. Like,
was it really
the whole first half was about jiu-jitsu.
Kind of.
Moving around?
A little bit.
You know?
But then 1022 just really was the predominant theme at the end.
I think just listen to the whole episode and figure out.
Decide for yourself, guys.
Can we name it 1022?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, 1022.
Name it Susan if we want to.
1022. Susan's 1022.
Anyway, come trans with us.
Enjoy the episode, you guys. Start over, Jordan.
I think having knowing where your balance is and posting is where people seem like they're extraordinarily strong when they're on top of you. Obviously, I'm a big guy, right? But I'm not huge. But people are like, you're so strong. And it's like, well, thank you. But if we went over to those weights right there, you would find out how not strong I actually am.
Yeah. You just have a great sense of your center of gravity and how to set a base.
Yeah. I think I've ever benched 225 pounds is my max.
245s.
Yeah.
On each side.
Yeah. And maybe a little bit more, but not much.
Yeah.
Right. So this, I've just never been strong, which but my
press
legs are strong.
Bench press is not an athletic.
I don't know.
Movement.
People use that as a fucking.
I know it's
how much you bench.
One of the worst benchmarks for how athletic a person is, and I'm amazed that the NFL Combine still uses it. Because you're laying with your back on a solid bench, which takes away all your core muscle. Your core muscle doesn't have to participate at all. So it's purely just this little limited range of movement with your hands.
Yeah.
That has very little application to athletics.
But guys that are in the combine that do really well with like the bench and stuff, they never really translates to good football player.
Right.
Because they're more focused on like power or like that weightlifting instead of the actual playing. And
athletes are made from the knees to the belly button. That's where it's important, is if you have good hips, core, and strong legs to drive.
Balance and flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Balance is a huge one that I think no one really works on. Like even doing jiu-jitsu, you get new people. Like I've always been into balance, and I don't know. It seems odd that people don't work it.
It would be interesting to see how it would change some, like an older person, to take an older person and put them with like a foam pit below them, so they're not getting hurt when they fall, but to just have them balance on like a ball or a beam or something, to where it's like just work that, and no lifting, no exercise, just balance, just step on this and get stable.
Well, I have like those Bosu balls, and it's interesting because not only does it work like stand on it 1 foot and try and balance, and it works those supportive muscles, but you got to think it's doing like it's working your inner ear, like that actual mechanism for it. And I would imagine it's like any other muscle. The more you work it, the longer it's going to stay strong in your life.
Did I send you guys that video of people doing all kinds of weird, like balance ball, like crawling around and stabilizing on it? Or, no? All right. I'll have to
But you're talking about like the big, like at the gym, there's the
sit-up
silver
balls.
the one I used for my backrest.
Yeah. The big Bosu balls, like the full round or ab ball. I don't know what the fuck you call them. But it's like people were doing whole workouts of different balancing exercises on top of those things. And I'm sure that's a pretty good core workout. And just like you're saying, Mike, having more of an awareness of your center of gravity and your balance, I think would have a huge crossover to jiu-jitsu. And that's even like before we started recording what we were talking about, where just kind of rolling, like, because I have no furniture in my living room, so I'm fucking rolling around on the floor the other night. And I was like, this is great for understanding where your center of gravity is at all times and how it's constantly moving and sort of keeping up with it as you go. And I kind of think that I might start just taking up like a little bit of like free form tumbling, like go into the gym, get on the mats and just kind of roll around for a half an hour. Just, it feels good. Makes you feel like a kid for one, makes you smile.
When did Tobin get into parkour?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you ever see me before jiu-jitsu, I have a whole routine I kind of do every time.
Do you?
And it's a lot of hip ups.
Smokable.
And then
I see you show up exactly 7 minutes late to jiu-jitsu.
Because he just got done with his routine.
Yeah, okay.
doing it outside. But it involves a bunch of like just rolling and tumbling and just warming things up, stretching that way, but through motion, starting to apply it and get limber.
Well, I think that also, like, doing that just as a workout in its own is huge. Just like I haven't done that movement in a long time, but just like I think it was like a month ago.
Yeah.
I was moving around in the gym, and then all of a sudden it was just like the next 2 days I was like, what the heck happened to me?
Felt good.
I felt like I just got done with the gnarliest like workouts. I was like, why are my legs hurt? And then I realized 2 days later, it was like, oh, it's because I did that 10-minute mobility thing.
Yeah.
So like going through that mobility stuff and needing to use your stabilizer muscles in awkward positions really, I don't want to say they atrophy quick, but they will go away quick because
they absolutely atrophy in like American adults because we sit in chairs all day, or we sit in our car, then we sit in our chair, and it's like nobody has any core muscle, nobody has any awareness of a changing center of gravity, and nobody has any mobility. And so what's it? One of the leading metrics for longevity in life is flexibility and mobility. And that's something that's completely lost in American society. And it's kind of funny because, again, the other night when I was rolling around on my floor, I was thinking about like how kids, you take kids to tumbling class And then by the time they're in first grade, that's kind of over. It's like, why aren't we doing that more? Why not get down on a mat and just kind of roll around all different directions, just because it moves your body every single direction, gives you very good awareness of how to move your body. I don't see a downside to it.
I think that's one of the things.
And it's fucking fun.
That the Russians do
they?
with their kids before. Well, there's a handful of things they do with their kids that are wild. But they put their like wrestlers and stuff into gymnastics first. So all the kids do gymnastics. Like, I think that's almost like a pretty basic thing in Russia is to send your kids to gymnastics.
Yeah.
So they're doing all this movement, finding out what their bodies, how their body moves, finding out what balance means for them, like all the different, like, those transitions and being upside down all of a sudden and all this other stuff. And there's also something that they do with their infants and like babies. We called it the Russian swing, but where they have their baby and they like swing them by their arms and they'll like flip them over and then they'll like throw them and they'll balance. Dude, it's look up, like Google Russian swinging babies.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you're going to find these videos that are like, what? It looks like fake.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing to these babies? And they're like spinning them around and like doing all this crazy acrobatic stuff with like.
I wonder if that helps their inner ear even at that young age.
I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, those babies are all Olympic
turn into
medalists.
Olympic wrestlers. Yeah.
Well,
gymnasts. And
gymnasts and just, I think the steroids help too. But and the doping.
Let's be honest, American Olympic or Olympians are probably on all that shit too.
Probably. But either way, it's something that they figure helps.
Okay.
And it's pretty impressive watching. And they also say it like helps with like mental development.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff, just like everything. It's like it helps with everything.
Yeah. Start grabbing Nathan by his ankles and just swinging him around.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Become a man.
It's good for you.
Yeah. Big test this week.
Drago did this.
Drago.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, dude, this house, man. We're sitting in Tobin's new house, and it's overlooking the lake, and you got the American flag up, and just everything you could want. This seems like a really nice little community too.
Who knows? Because I haven't met the neighbors, so you never know.
I see a lot of trucks.
That's
which
true.
Makes me happy. I see trucks and trailers for like outdoorsy looking people that are,
Yeah.
And some woman just came walking by with 3 Malinois.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Mean mugging you too.
Yeah. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. So neighborhood watches.
That could be due to me.
She
being
saw
out
the
in
Nissan truck in the front, and she was like, "Who the?"
Yeah. Sunday night it was snowing pretty hard up here, and about midnight I was out in the front yard in my shorts smoking a joint, my bare feet. So, I don't know how many Ring cameras I was on, but. I may have freaked out a couple of the middle-aged women in the neighborhood.
I do think a hot tub on your deck would be.
We got to reinforce it.
Yeah, you'd have to structurally reinforce
That's all right.
the deck.
We can do that.
We'll put that on. We'll put that on the future projects.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So a couple of those boards are rotten, and
I'll take
eventually
care
that
of it.
deck's going to have to get replaced with
Trex.
Trex.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. Some Trex.
Which will be
Trex decking and yeah, I mean, it
Hot-
is what it is.
Hot tub lifestyle is a true lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's why
I wonder if it's one of those things that I'll get in once a month and just be cussing it because of all the work.
I never used mine.
Yeah, that's kind of most people
I
I
use
know.
mine all the time.
Do you?
I probably
until
should have.
It died on me.
Oh man, I wish I would have known. I would have given you mine.
Yeah.
I had Chandra cut it up with a Sawzall.
Sawzall.
I was like, "This is what you can do today," and she just went to town on that thing. Yeah, I was super pumped. I was looking at this thing and it's like, this is taking up a bunch of space in this little outdoor area. Like, we need to get rid of this damn thing.
Was she covered in foam?
Oh, well, she was. Yeah, she was
Did you give her a respirator?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't think so. I think she figured it out on her own.
Fiberglass is good for you. Don't worry about it.
Here's a beer. Quit whining.
Yeah. The beer knocks down the
glass.
Yeah, the glass. It can't penetrate that. Make sure you drink enough.
We had when when I was in high school, and I think all my dad ever did was complain about the maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I think he got
The chemicals
once
and
a month.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like, I better go get in there because justify this damn thing.
exactly.
Chemicals are easy. When it's green, put in chlorine. That's about it.
I think we just need Mike Kozak to get a hot tub and then we'll go over there.
Well, he's got one. Yeah.
I got one, just broke down on me. I got to get a new one. But they're spendy. Have you looked at a hot tub lately?
No.
They're like 15 grand.
Oh, no, thank
Shut
you,
the
dude.
fuck- no.
They are not cheap.
That's a big negative on hot tub life. Then.
No, you know what you need.
What I should do is put a sauna.
That's what I was gonna say. Now we're
Now
talking.
we're talking.
A sauna out there with
Go jump in the lake, hit back to the sauna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. That's what I really want to get, a sauna, real bad, real bad. I think they feel so good.
Yeah, it does.
Especially like when you get in all cedar and just.
I used to be anti-sauna, and since Greg got the one at the gym, I've become a very big fan of it.
Why were you anti?
Yeah, that's kind
I
of.
don't know.
Strange.
I don't like hot weather, and so I don't like being hot in general. But then you realize that the point, like the sauna cold plunge right there together. At some point, what I realize is that you are
the dynamic duo, dude.
Well, yeah, you're legitimately conquering your inane fear of death, because you get in that sauna, and after 10 minutes at 220 degrees or whatever, your body is telling you, like, we can't survive this. Yeah. And you start having that panic reaction where you're like, I need to get out. And you're fighting that panic reaction that's telling you, we need to get the hell out of here. This is dangerous. Yeah. So then you step out and take a couple breaths, and then you step into the water that's 40 degrees, and you have the same reaction where your body says, hey, this is dangerous. We're going to be hypothermic in a few minutes. We need to get out of here. And you have to force yourself to sit there and be calm in the face of your own death. And I think that is the true benefit of those two, whatever you want to call them, tools.
Yeah.
Is that you're confronting your own death and forcing yourself to be calm in the face of it.
It is as much as it is like, I think there's two different camps. Some people like that sauna cold plunge because, like you said, there's a mental factor to it, like where you got to deal with this hard stuff and you're conditioning your mind to be tougher. But then there is also like the physiological effect of it.
Yeah,
and
the vasodilating and constricting.
But also when you get done doing those, you feel all euphoric and like someone could step on your Pumas and you're like, I don't care, dude. They're just shit.
It's all good.
You know? And that's what I really like about it, is just that feeling from it. I never really think about the mental fortitude. I just think about how happy I am when you're done.
I'm so glad I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I just like having conversations in there.
Yeah.
Hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, just talking and just listening to what people are saying. And then you kind of hear, they kind of start speeding up, or what ends up happening is they kind of just quit paying attention. And they're like, and you see them just start that mental struggle.
Exactly. Because they
him.
hit that 10-minute mark where it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you start,
okay.
Tobin starts looking at his watch like, okay.
How much longer?
All right. I'm going to step out. You sit there and try and like, okay, no big deal.
But that's a real sauna session. I mean, going to gyms throughout my life, like you'd always go to like a 24-hour fitness and they'd have a sauna or something, but it was like maybe 180, 175. And then you go into, dude,
How come you're in the sauna? Europeans do this. It must be good for you.
Yeah.
Well,
and
we
you
used to-
sweat a little, but this, Greg's, the
cranked
other
that
day,
thing
his
up.
thing was almost up to 240.
It's like 230 in there.
Yeah. And it was like,
literally
I am
cooking.
dying.
You can cook food in there.
yeah, we should bring a brisket.
Dude, I'm
there.
telling. Well, dude, that's what I was saying.
A bunch
like,
of fucking athlete's foot all over the brisket.
I told Greg,
Dry
I was like, I
aged.
could literally, like, this is literally brisket temp right
Yeah.
now. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And you sat in here for how long?
Yeah.
I think there's, what's the other one? It's not the sauna. It's like a steam.
Sweat lodge.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? A sweat lodge? Where it's just steam.
No, they have pure steam rooms.
Yeah, steam room.
Oh.
Yeah, that's. But I see that.
I like those.
I
So
like
what's
those
the
a
difference
lot.
between a sauna and a steam room?
Steam room is actually emitting like way more steam constantly. It's a
It's
constant.
got like a valve that's
yes,
pumping water.
And it's like you can't see across it.
yes,
It's fog.
it's very humid. Just
so I could have my dick out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, your spot. It's. I think appropriate.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's.
this is Greek style.
Yeah.
Greco-Roman.
Yeah, they do it in Woodinville.
Oh, that sounds all right.
At the Gold's Gym in Woodinville.
I knew there was something funny about that town. Yeah.
The Gold's Gym in Woodinville, they have one, and you whip it out, dude.
All right.
It's co-ed.
Also on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mandatory.
Yeah. The Q nightclub, I think they call that place.
Don't look in the drain.
Yeah. Close your eyes and feel for it. What? Okay.
I'm just trying to find my way to the door here, fellas.
Oh, he's getting away.
Isn't there a real Russian like sauna steam place in Everett where they actually like
It would
hit
make
you
sense.
with the eucalyptus leaves?
It would
and
make
stuff?
sense if it was in Everett,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
And then afterwards, you get out, and I think they give you like sauerkraut and
where they
like,
all have the
borscht.
same hat.
Shut up.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
beat the shit out of you.
Yeah,
with
that little
sticks.
wool hat or whatever.
Yeah. See-
and then afterwards, they give you foods. Like,
I'd
to
be interested in
replenish.
that.
That'd be a fun one.
That would be fun.
That would actually be interesting. We got to
All
get
right.
Igor in there. Send him in there to sleuth it out and see if it's
Yeah, he goes,
legit or
it's
not.
fine. It's fine.
Our red sparrow.
He goes in there. He's in cahoots with them.
Yeah.
Brings us in there. They drug us. We
God,
all wake up.
with
my
one
God.
kidney gone.
Yeah, in a bathtub full of ice.
I'm in a cosmonaut program.
He goes,
I've seen
Igor.
spies like us.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They do this in Russia all the time.
Yeah.
It's like,
One kidney is enough.
no, you don't need more. Come on.
You
You
guys-
pee less.
The way you guys drink, you only need one kidney.
Yeah. Oh, gosh darn it. So, turkey season coming up.
Yeah.
And you said bringing the dirt bikes? Because I full on
hang
started buying
I was
racks.
saying, Jordan's hard. You can't tease him with dirt bikes, to turkey hunting, and then pull the rug out from under him.
I don't have a dirt bike. I have a 4-wheeler. But I was thinking,
So I saw one for sale.
what, a dirt bike or a
A
4-wheeler?
TW, just like mine.
Oh, really?
But it's older. I think it's arguably better. He's like, the guy's like, it's mint, right? as they all are, right?
sales
Everything on Craigslist
Yeah.
is.
He said 3,500 miles, mint. Has a Kickstarter and I think it's an electric start too, which is everything you want.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it's a little teed up, so it's like 200cc farm bike that's just like low compression. Things gonna
Nice and
run
quiet.
forever. Just geared low.
Yeah, I thought it'd maybe be fun to take dirt bike 4-wheeler. Just
Thought maybe.
pop down those little Forest Service
You mean
roads.
absolutely fun?
Yeah.
I'll let you know
Yeah.
because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Regardless, dude, I
man.
ordered a rack. I'm all jacked
ready
up.
to
I'm like,
go.
I got to get a new skid plate. I get in a rack. I want to get some little fog lights. I was like, I better bring in a helmet for Nathan.
Shit, I'm gonna have to get a 4-wheeler before we go. I've been wanting a dirt bike so bad for many years.
$3,500.
The problem is I don't want a TW. I want a CRF single track.
You almost made me. You almost made me say it.
say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
I'm done with those 4-letter words. But you almost used to make
It almost squeaked out.
it almost squeaked out there.
Squeaked out there.
Friggin'.
Friggin'.
Yeah. Gosh darn. No, those T-dubs are what you want, dude.
I don't know. A dual sport would be nice. Something that you could take off road and on the road. That's kind of what
Are you talking more like the KTM and
Yeah.
like BMW style, like
KTM, more dirt bike. That's just a dual. I mean, you have a license plate.
more,
and a
more like an
blinker
enduro
setup.
dirt bike?
Yeah,
I have a
Okay.
license plate on mine. I have to have it insured.
Yeah. Well,
I
but what I'm
insure it.
saying is I want a single track bike that also has blinkers in it, like a CRF or a KTM. Yeah.
This year.
And you can add some saddlebags to it and
The,
go do some backcountry camping on your dirt bike would be pretty fucking fun.
Those Husqvarnas are bad to the bone.
Huskies are nice. Very nice.
I'd love to get one of those. That 400. It's at the 400 EI or something like that. It's
Now let's pound some whiskey and make some bad decisions on Craigslist.
there we go. Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, stay tuned for next week's episode. Find out how this goes.
I do want to get a side by side though.
That's the dream.
Yeah,
That's number one.
like a 4-seater Polaris. Jordan,
Yes.
was it Jordan? Were we talking about splitting one of those or something?
I think hey, you know what?
Oh.
Let's keep drinking.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see about this. For the low payments of more than my truck.
I do think that backcountry hunting with one of those would be really fun.
I mean,
just taking 4-wheeler trails or
it just opens up so much opportunity as far as like getting back into places with ease and not necessarily worrying about messing up your truck. Sorry about that, Tobin.
That's all good. It's just a truck now.
been there.
We went hunting and like I was like, yeah, we got to go down here. And he was like,
my truck was pretty new.
okay. Black truck just scratches down the whole fucking thing.
All these overgrown, not quite trees, but just sort of brush.
Yeah,
and you could hear like the and now there's that's what I had you look at, all those micro scratches all over it.
Tobin's
but the reality is, it was a new truck for a while, and I knew that at some point it was going to become just a truck. And I do use my truck like a truck. It's not a fucking asphalt queen.
Yes.
So at this point, it's 3 years old, and it's just a truck. It's a good truck.
Didn't realize it was new.
I love it, but hey, whatever. Now it's just a truck. You don't have to worry about it. It's honestly there's a point at which you cross that threshold that's somewhat relieving, where you go, you know what? Now I don't have to worry about it, and it's actually a giant weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, what was that? 3 years ago we did that?
It was when Jordan took me to a spot in Chelan.
There is nothing more annoying. Like, yes, you should keep your things nice and try and clean things out and have a little bit of order in life. But when
don't let stuff get in the way of experiences.
Yes. When someone has a truck and all they do is wax it and don't do anything with it, and then they give you shit because your truck has scratches in it, it's like...
You mean stories?
Yeah. Dude, you're a bitch. Yeah, what have you done in the last year that would impress me? Tell me one thing, and they can't tell you a thing.
I waxed my truck 24 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
To me, that's very infuriating. Like, it pisses me off because they want to act like because something's shiny, it's better. But it's like, no, substance is what makes it good, not shine, not luster.
Yeah, the wabi-sabi, dude. The beauty in the
Wabi-sabi.
Japanese word for
it's a legit term.
Yeah, it's was it beauty in the imperfections?
Are you shitting us?
Okay,
Google it.
Google it, motherfucker.
Yeah, I love saying that.
I'll trust you.
Wasabi.
Wasabi.
Yeah, wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi.
Yeah.
Beauty in the imperfection. I like that.
But
start telling women that.
Yeah, man.
Hello, Miss Wabi-sabi.
These things are wabi-sabi.
Biggie Smalls.
Oh God.
Yeah. But that is true. I think there's something like when I got my truck, the first thing I did was basically
smash the fender into a tree.
No, that was 3 years deep. Right. Damn rhododendron. But
who planted that in the front yard anyway?
Yeah, whatever. I found it. I drove out to Eastern Washington up this hill that was kind of. It wasn't super tight, but my things were rubbing.
Yeah.
And then I just took a nap in the woods. It was the great. I drove like 3.5 hours to get to a spot. Got out near Eniat.
Yeah.
Then I just drove up to this place. I leaned back and just passed out for like probably 2 hours.
In the seat, or you got out and slept in the dirt?
No, in the seat. I was like, oh, I got a truck that can get me to wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
This is great. Got out, kind of walked around for a second, got back in and left. And I was just like, that was great. That was great. That's everything I needed. Yep. Because before I did that, before it was like, I hope my rig doesn't break down. Like, I really hope I can make it to, I remember going on a hunting trip when I was younger, and I was probably like 22. I was a little older than that. But my truck couldn't make it over the pass. And I was like, this sucks.
Overheating.
No, the transmission was slipping like crazy, and I was like, damn it. The incline was too much. had to turn it around, dude.
Let's go downhill.
Limp this thing home, and I was just like, man.
I'm glad you brought this up, actually, because this is actually a subject I've wanted to bring up on the podcast, but it's probably not enough to make a whole episode. But it's that a good truck, like if you're a dude like us who likes to do outdoor adventures and whatnot, having a good truck is a fucking necessary piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And I love the one I have right now, but there's a part of me that I used to have an '06 Tacoma, and I let it go because when we had the boys, it was the little half back seat, and the car seats just wouldn't fucking fit. And so for a while there, we were having to do the shuffling where whoever had the kids had the 4-door SUV or whatever. And it was always, and I hate switching cars because there's also something about not being in your own truck where it's like, you have all your stuff.
Everything's different. Yeah.
Exactly. You have like my pocket knife's in there, my sunglasses are in there, my chaps, and it's disorienting when you drive somebody else's car, and it kind of fucks you up. But I wish I had held on to that because it had like 220,000 miles on it, and under the hood there wasn't a drop of coolant or oil or nothing was leaking. It just ran like a fucking top, dude. It's like, God dang it, I wish I could have afforded to just put that in storage.
Those little Japanese trucks, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Japanese Jeep, dude.
And in Afghanistan, we drove Hiluxes all over the place, man. Those things are like the stripped down. It's a 4-cylinder diesel, little tiny. It's probably like a 2-liter engine. They have no power, but they're geared really low, so they have a lot of torque basically through the low gearing. Their top speed is probably like 45 miles an hour with five gears, and they have no creature comforts other than a heater. You know, the roll down windows and the push pull door locks and just the vinyl, everything. And we would ask the locals, like, when was the last time you did maintenance on this? They're like, we don't understand.
Someone cast
a
spell on.
Do you guys change the oil? Do you change? They're like, no.
What is oil?
What are you talking about? Like, no,
we sell it to you.
We don't do anything to these things. They just keep running. And to be able to get your hands on one of those Hiluxes,
Dude, they're in Mexico.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's 2 cars down there that I saw when I was in Mexico that I was like, that would be so sweet. They had Hiluxes, and they had these things that are basically like a modern Suzuki Samurai. It's a Suzuki Jimny.
Okay.
And it's just a tiny little golf cart of a
Is it gasoline
SUV.
or diesel?
I think the Jimneys, are gas, and the Hiluxes, I think, were diesel.
Yeah.
But it's like they're down there in Mexico, and all it is like, go down there, buy one, and drive it across the border. Once it's here, I don't care.
No.
You know, I mean, we're taking them. Why can't we take their cars too?
I know. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting the fentanyl. Could we please get a fucking Toyota Hilux?
Yeah.
Those little Samurais are nuts cars too. When you see guys that are really into mudding and they have one of those on like 40-inch wheels, you're like, go everywhere.
No shit.
Those are kind of nuts too.
Are the Suzuki Samurais like a legit?
Legit.
Are they reliable? Like, do they run for? Like,
They were little diesels.
They were diesels?
Yeah.
Shut up. Oh, I thought they were gasoline.
I think they were little
No
diesels,
shit.
like a 2.6 liter, 2.2 liter, some crap, 2.3 liter. I don't know, 2 point something.
Yeah. And the other thing that was impressive about the Hiluxes is that the weight capacity seemed to, for a little tiny truck with a little tiny engine, you could fit like
put an elephant in it.
Yeah, you could put like 6 bales of hay, 7 goats, a family of 12, and 6 hitchhikers. It's like, we're just going over the Hindu Kush.
Yeah, just keep it in third.
Here we go. Yeah.
That's the Jimny there.
That looks like almost a Bronco. Do you like the new Broncos, like the Badland versions? I think they look
that
fucking
does
nice.
look like a Bronco.
Yeah, just an itty bitty little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like as wide as a side by side though. They're tiny.
Yeah. Dude, that looks just like the Bronco.
Yeah.
I think the new Broncos are cool.
Is that a 2-seat? There's no back seat in that, is there?
No, I think there is. I think there's maybe
a little jump seat back
for,
seat.
Yeah, for like a
gear.
Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's more or less the size of a Jeep bucket, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing that I'd kind of like to get because those things are hard to kill as well. Is a
Jeep?
Like the 4.0 straight 6 Jeeps.
I just feel like
I think they've changed.
Like,
Jeeps
no,
have
I'm talking
such a stigma around
2006
the Jeep.
and older.
Douchebags drive Jeeps.
2006 and older. I want a 2006 Jeep Unlimited Rubicon. Real bad
are
because
nice.
because it has like lockers.
Yes.
It's got I believe it's got front and rear.
Rear diff. Yeah.
That's the other thing about a Tacoma is you can get one with a locking rear diff for like $15,000.
Yeah.
That 3 and if that's the one I had was the 3.5 liter V6, which is like their best engine, and it just goes and goes and goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I those, and people sleep on these little Frontiers, but those
Frontier is
it's the poor man's version of the poor man's
Tacoma.
Tacoma.
I will say this is Jen's grandma has a Frontier, and we would borrow it from time to time when one of our cars was in the shop. And it was noticeably different in that it was a cheaper rig.
Yeah.
Like my Tacoma was much smoother and quieter and just felt like a more
luxury-ish.
Yeah, whatever.
Is Nissan Japanese?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was Datsun.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 270s. Yeah.
Yeah. So because the Datsun King Cab is one of my favorite trucks of all time. Like those little Datsun King Cabs with the they look like little fighter jets with the wings on the side of them there. My dad had one of those when I was a kid, and he beat the ever living shit out of that thing. Like he drove with probably 3,000 pounds at least of bricks stacked. Like the whole bed of the truck was
just fucking riding on the tires.
Axles. It was just the leaf springs were completely flat, and he was riding on the axle from where was it? Magnuson, or not Magnuson, somewhere down in Seattle, all the way back to Woodinville on that. And he bought the truck from my grandpa, who bought it brand new. And then I think he ended up having to change the spark plug wires on it and change the oil. And that was it. And he sold it with like 350,000 miles on it. And the thing was just running. And it's like, holy crap. And like the frames of them were super burly. They had like 5 cross members, and just, it was crazy.
Japanese stuff is so well engineered and like automotive and stuff. And especially during that time of like the 70s and 80s during the gas crunch, like they started really knocking it out of the park, and they just kept that going. But that engineering and that I don't know.
Well, I thought there was a story of a guy who came from the U.S. who, like, the Japanese were like, we really want to like put this into a big production, and a guy kind of got turned down from his ideas over here, and then he went to Japan where they were like, we'll do that. And they kind of worked with them, and next thing you know, they have like the best cars in the world.
Well, I heard Japanese stuff was so good because during like when we were like, when standards were being met, and like you could have like a 1/1000th of variability in constructing something, the Japanese were like, no, everything has to be 100% at the standard. That's when you started to see the difference.
So it's dusk outside right now. All the geese are starting to land on the lake out there. And within an hour, it's going to be so fucking loud out there when we open the window that you guys are going to be like, what the shit? Go get the shotgun.
Is that a Japanese crane?
It might be. It might be. Well,
sorry.
We're going to have to shoot it to find out.
What do you go? Oh, it is Japanese.
But no, Mike, you're hitting on something, which is that their attention to detail and exacting standards, I think, is what led to like the Subaru and Toyota and all.
Yeah.
Like all the Japanese manufactured automobiles are known for reliability.
Yeah, Hondas.
Yeah.
Honda motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yamaha.
Nobody talks about the reliability of a Pontiac.
Yeah.
No, that's
The
true.
old Firebird.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
beast never lets me down.
Which is kind of a bummer, you know. But the thing is like they were supposed to be like this cheap car. I think there was a sweet spot where we went from having like Japanese with that to like the Japanese cars being like inexpensive and well made to now it's like, oh, you're looking at you want to get a new Toyota?
Yeah.
You're looking at like
the most
57,000
expensive.
trucks. Yeah, you know, I don't know what the actual number is, but it's like it's over $50K.
But then they figured out the marketing. They figured out how to take their reliability and make it cool. Like the new body style Tacomas and the new Tundras and what, you know what I mean? Like they took all of their reliability and their sort of brand recognition, and then they added a little bit of cool factor on top of it. So you still get all the performance of the Tacoma. Like you get the locking rear differentials if you get the right package, and you get the light-bodied truck that can kind of go. It's still a little bit of a third world, like go anywhere, do anything. But then they added a cool factor.
But now you can't take it down a trail because you're scared of scratching it. Because you just spent
got to get over that
dang
hump.
near $60,000.
You got to take it up to Chelan to Jordan's hunting spot and get over that hump.
I'll get you there. Well, dude, and that's why, like,
or maybe you get one. Maybe that's why people like the matte brown or whatever fucking color that is. You know what I mean? All these weird colors have become
flat colors.
Maybe don't see the scratches in them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
just take it to Winco. Let some lady run a shopping cart into it
because it runs.
No, because it's so hard to match that paint. So normally if you're matching paint, right, you'll do a spray out card of your color, and then you'll put like a wax and grease or some sort of type of clear over it to see what it would look like with the clear as luster. But those things, like switching to whiskey, it's impossible to match them. Like you have to paint from nose to tail. It's very hard to blend those.
Interesting.
Yeah, just those pastel colors are a motherfucker.
What about like the earth tone ones, like the dark brown or the
even those still they're just a weird. They just call them pastels just because it's kind of a flat color.
Flat. Yeah, you can't.
Metallics are easier.
The
to blend.
metallics, like the flake, kind of takes care of a lot of it.
Yep.
And then you clear coat so much of it that it like kind of takes care of itself, or what?
With what, the pastels?
No. With the metallics.
It's just easier to blend. The colors absorb into each other easier.
Interesting.
Whereas those pastels are so straight in color. Yeah. If you have any variance, you're like, oh, this is green and that's red.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm following.
I'm still tempted to have Mike just give me a full-on redneck, like full truck wrap of mossy oak.
Do you know how...
I can paint your truck. Let's just paint it. I can Dude, I think we can just sand and buff that thing.
It would be cool to choose a color.
But then we'd just go out on a forest road and dig scratches.
But then you're fine.
Do it again.
Do it again. Yeah, you know a guy.
When Greg and I were in the Army, we wanted to paint his car like a bumblebee. Red and yellow
and black.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever been out to Monroe when they do the
like demolition derby and the boat
bomber class or something?
Well, there are so many freaking geese landing right now. It's absolutely insane. Ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because you're right next to Skagit.
Yes, by Skagit on a
few miles south of there.
We're at a
and we're on a
game
little
preserve.
Exactly.
Hey, you know what?
This is a game preserve.
Maybe basically. We shouldn't say where we are.
So let's talk about those suppressed 22 builds.
Yeah, I think that's. Sorry, I lost. I look
at both you guys.
We're both watching geese land out on the water.
Yeah. No, I think that there's a lot of cool wraps that people do now that are like, you know, like you said, the painting the truck like redneck. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what we were talking about. Monroe. That's where we were at. The Hornets. You ever watch the Hornets run?
Hornet class?
Yeah. So the Hornets, that's one of the rules is you have to have it yellow and black.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, yeah. And you could, the track could buy the car back from, if you're winning, if you start winning all the time, the track had like, and this was like in the 90s, they could buy the car back for like $350 or $500 because guys would just get these old beat up fucking like Geos. Dang it. And they'd paint them and then like, they would weld the doors and put cross members, and then they had to have like a 5-point harness. And I think they would take out all the windows except the windshield. Yeah. And then it was like, you're good to run. Okay. So like that, there were like young kids that would go and run these like Hornet classes. And it's just, because they're all open pipe too. So it's like, ripping around the track. Guys just.
I'm telling you, county fairs and county, drag strips, have some good old fashioned
American
fun.
Yeah, that is the heart of America.
That's some of the shit that's being lost in our modern age.
Yeah.
Is go to your county fair and take your kids and go
100%.
watch the boat races and the fucking demolition derby.
The best
and
was
get a hot dog and some cotton candy.
Don't get a hot dog.
Do it.
Do it.
But the best
scones.
on those
Go get yourself a scone.
Yeah, an elephant ear and a smoked turkey
Oh,
leg.
dude, now we're
Purple cow.
talking.
Yeah.
A smoked turkey leg.
Oh, dude.
When was the last time? You know what we're doing?
Last time I had a smoked turkey leg was the last time I was at a county fair.
We're gonna have. We
Better
smoke one
have.
up.
I've got a smoker, and I just ordered I ordered today from that Amish hardware store I sent you guys.
Yeah. I looked at their webpage.
Dude, they got some good shit. I ordered a pressure cooker and some jars.
Did you?
Oh, nice.
If I get a turkey, I'm smoking it, and then I'm canning it.
When we get a turkey,
Canned smoked turkey.
Yeah, there'll be a turkey killed this year, I'm sure. There will be. There's enough of them.
there was one killed. At least he maybe died of infection, but he died. Yeah, there you go. Oh man, that was such a blast last year.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Something about turkey is just...
Well, what's fun is because it's almost like I'm not.
It's Hunter's spring break, too.
Well, yeah, I'm out here relaxing. I didn't feel stressed. Like, I don't
No.
feel like the pressure of, like, I got to get an elk. I got to put the work in. It's like, hopefully I see a turkey. If not, I'm hanging out, dude. This is fun. This is a good time. It's camping with a purpose.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going out here to be with my friends and, like, see enjoy this thing that I like doing, which is sitting around waiting for an animal to come by and it's a different kind of style that like actually forces you to kind of like sit.
Yes.
Right. We did a couple walkthroughs and I think we may have pushed one or two out, but like really it's like you're supposed to sit, you're supposed to call, and that's how you hunt these things. And that was like, it's cool to be forced to have to do that.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Yes.
right? And it's like you find a spot, you get down, you set up a decoy. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to trick this fucker.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him. And then try not to fall asleep.
Do you remember that rabbit last year?
Oh, I have the video of it. Yeah.
Dude, you could have Chuck Norris
I had the
broke
blowgun,
his
dude.
neck.
I should have brought the blowgun.
Like he was on our laps, which
no
was
shit.
the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he was running through. I mean, and that's the cool thing is you get a trip out over a bunny.
Slow down. Yeah, you get to acclimate to the pace of the woods.
Yes.
And you get it, and you get to do it in a way that is less stressful. I mean, I always feel like hunting big game and everything.
Elk's
else,
more like I have to be up this early. I have to put that many miles on. Whereas turkey's like, dude, if I had too much fun the night before and I sleep in, I'm still hunting
The whole
at 10
getting out
a.m.
of
just
bed
as
an hour
intense.
before sunlight it really puts a damper on hunting for me. 'Cause that's what I do Monday through Friday, and on the weekends I just want to fucking sleep.
Yeah, but
until
here's the
7
thing:
o'clock.
when you're out there hunting, like I will wake up at like 2 hours before light, and it's like I'm up. Let's make coffee. Let's do eggs. Let's do it, and then you go back to civilization, and like work happens, and you're like, I can't get out of bed. I have to keep sleeping.
That's more proof that we are supposed to live our lives just chasing a herd.
Yeah, a flock.
Yeah.
chasing a herd of dollars. Damn it.
Yeah. Not the correct grinding into traffic. Here's the other thing about living out here is that the first half of my commute now is on like wide open roads.
Yeah.
And then as I get closer to Seattle, like the traffic
dread starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can feel the stress level rise. As the traffic thickens up, as I get closer to
Once
Seattle.
you hit Linwood, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's when I hit Marysville. It's as I hit Marysville, it's like,
What time do you leave? You start at 6?
yeah.
So what time do you leave here? Like an hour?
4:45.
Which
Yeah.
isn't that much different than me.
No, it isn't.
No, not at all.
Because I go 80 until I hit Marysville.
Yeah.
Is that where you really start to run into traffic at that time?
At South Marysville, like right before you hit the slough is when I start. And it's not like traffic. We're still going 70, but it's thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I work in that Totem Lake area, and it's like I live in Lake Stevens, and like leaving at 5, you'd think, oh man, I'm beating everyone. But it's so surprising.
See you on the
how many-
trestle.
Yeah. It's surprising how many people are out there. I take 9 the whole time though.
Yeah.
I
But it's like, that makes you think, so what? Do you have to leave your house at 3 a.m. to beat people? Well, that rush of having a major city around you?
There is very little times going through Seattle when you can beat traffic, just because when I go down to Oregon to see my mom, I will try to leave at like weird times. And, dude, I'll be coming home at midnight on a Sunday night, and you hit Fort Lewis down there, and it's just like...
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's midnight on Sunday.
That Fort Lewis area is weird. Bro. There's always traffic.
There's always this area.
But they've been doing construction for the last 92 years, it feels like, on the freeway.
They're almost done, I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no, this area is so overpopulated that it just never ends.
Western Washington, we're socked in by the mountains. And
so, again, one of the reasons I really want to become self-employed is I don't want to have to go into Seattle anymore. I just want to stay the fuck out.
Yeah, Seattle's a kind of a drag, huh?
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways.
It is, but it's like, God, growing up, I used to love Seattle so much.
Yeah, but it was different.
But that's what I mean. It's sad to see it.
But the population wasn't such that the traffic was like it is.
No.
You used to be able to drive.
COVID
drive
traffic was
freeway.
truly what it felt like to grow up here in the 90s.
Yes.
Like when we were able to rip around, and it was like, rush hour was like, oh, there's a car every like 100 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember being a kid driving around here, was like, we're going to Seattle, and at all times it was never like we're stopped. It was like, we're going 45. This is weird.
In 2001, we would get in the car at Fort Lewis to drive to Snohomish to stay at Greg's parents' house, and it would take us an hour.
Yeah.
And then it's every once in a while you'd get stuck in like some bad traffic because of an accident or whatever, but that was rare. Yeah. And now, good luck on a Friday afternoon to drive from Fort Lewis to Snohomish.
Oh, don't even 2.5 hours at least.
It's not even worth trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
COVID traffic was nice.
It was a beautiful.
I remember because Greg was working for the port, and he knew I drove around all the time. He's like, "Hey, we have a no pullover order," and it's like, dude, I'm doing 95 down the freeway everywhere, and it was, dude, by cops, you're like just blowing by, yeah, dude, they wouldn't pull you over though.
Oh, I remember, dude.
It was awesome.
The work was handing us out like the little if in case you might get pulled over. Here's a little.
I'm a essential worker. Yeah, I'm an essential. I had a piece of paper.
That's when I stopped paying for license plate tabs.
Yeah,
3 years ago, still rolling. Steve's
brand new truck.
Yeah, Steve's girlfriend was like, "Does Tobin know that his tabs are like really expired?" Like, yes, he does.
He's like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. What am I supposed to do?
I could never. Oh man, yeah.
Pandemic life was fun in certain ways.
There was a nice little.
There were very nice.
There were some perks.
That traffic I think is almost number one.
Traffic
was number one.
Yes.
It was so nice to just be able to like relax. Every day felt like it was vacation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's surprising how much, just talking about it, my heart's getting a little pain.
Oh, dude, if you can get on the freeway and go 65 home from work, like you just feel good.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Like today I was like, I'm cruising. This feels right.
Yeah.
So like, I have an uncle that like wouldn't come across the mountains. Yeah. Like he'd try and go over the overpass, and he would just like, he'd get anxiety, and he's like, nope.
Yeah.
There's too many people.
Too many people.
And he lived in Eastern Washington.
It's exactly the same feeling driving in. Is as you start to hit the thicker traffic, like your anxiety rises. It's just too much.
If you're listening to this Monday morning, guys, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's not only the thicker traffic. Like Danielle's parents talk about it all the time because they moved out to the boonies in Eastern Washington. And then when they come here, they're like, once I start hitting North Bend, people start cutting me off.
Yeah.
And it's not only the density, but it's the attitude of the people creating that traffic.
I think it goes back to...
I got that little Asian.
Well, it's like what we were talking about on the last episode. You can when you're in that close of proximity, you feel other people's anxiety, even though they're in a car 30 feet to your front or rear. Like their anxiety, like you have an aura, or you put out a
divine
signal.
I was gonna say it's the divine matrix, brother, dude. It's the divine matrix. And
I listened to that episode today.
Did you?
And I'm like, I started a counter like every time, dude. Divine Matrix must have been said 85 times. Like it is through the roof. It's just the Divine Matrix. It's like, God damn it.
Hey,
But I literally think
matter.
you start to feel other people's anxiety, and you can see, and like, there's always one asshole who's like today on my way home, like I'm driving along, I'm doing 75 and a 60, and I'm passing cars in the left lane. And as soon as we get a break, this guy like swerves out to the right, passes me, pulls over in front of me like he's angry that I'm going 75, but then he slows down to like 70. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing? What are we, like, did you just need to get in front? Did you need to prove a point? Was it your anxiety was just that you needed to feel like you have open road in front of you and not another car? Like, what was the point of that? And it's like,
I think it's
thank God I've gotten to a point now where I can like just kind of sit back and be like, whatever, just breathe. We're still going 70. Who cares?
I think it's some people's jujitsu. I think it's some people's like
This is their
battleground.
competition.
This is their battleground of like, I'm gonna drive aggressively and I'm gonna like I'm not gonna let somebody get one over on me.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
just calm down.
But then there's other days where it's like, I hope this motherfucker pulls over. And I'm going to pull over, and I'm going to double leg him, and I'm going to put him in knee on belly until he cries. And then
just whisper, yell right in his ear.
Yeah.
I'll fucking kill you.
I'm going to roll you over, and I'm going to fuck you.
Shh, nobody can hear you from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this why we get the warning on Project 223?
Yeah. My bad.
I'm gonna fuck you.
Pull over. Sorry, Brent.
Sorry.
The eagle's nest. Yeah. Sorry.
The bald eagle does not approve of our language at times, but we still love him.
I'm working on it. I promise I will be better, and I am better. He did give us a shout out. Thank you, Brent.
That's
Project
awesome.
223. Love that guy.
Podcast Project 223. He's also our first aid instructor. He's our ham radio guru. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's also a better
Sorry,
human.
He's not a fucking awesome guy. He's just an awesome guy.
Yeah. He's better than us. So
No, he's a solid guy who's still will hang out with the Neanderthals.
retards. The full retards.
But
goddamn.
yeah, it's fun listening to his stuff. He's got a lot of interesting facts and yeah, little tidbits that are like, oh, that's very helpful, and maybe I will look into getting some more radios.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's something we actually.
A Faraday. I was actually thinking. So before we started recording, we went down and looked at the basement, which is unfinished, open studs. The walls are all insulated. It's ready for sheetrock.
It's an archery range, just waiting to happen.
It's an
we're gonna teach you how to pull that thing back and not hurt yourself.
I know. I'm legitimately thinking about getting a bullet trap to shoot 22 pistols down there.
I don't see why we wouldn't do something like that.
In the concrete, a bullet trap.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, your foundation's a bullet trap.
For some of you guys, I'm going to have to get a very wide bullet trap. I might have to stack like 2 or 3 of them or something somehow. But what crossed my mind is that if before I sheetrock it, if I put chicken wire stapled to the studs and then run a ground wire to my ground rod, I could probably create a Faraday cage down there.
Is that strong enough?
That's down there on that workbench is where I want to put my base station I want to put a 50-watt transmitter down there.
I wonder what that actually looks like to like create a room that's a Faraday cage. Like, I mean,
don't they make drywall?
It's pretty simple. It's just a grounded room, right? Yes, you can buy lead-lined drywall, and it's going to be expensive, and it's a special order item. But for like when we build out MRI rooms in hospitals, they're lead-lined. But
it's actual lead
sheetrock. Yes.
Yes, because I've seen like we put it in people's. Push carts, so they get super heavy and they don't know about it. We put a bunch of lead under their tools and add about like 60 pounds of lead.
Now I have cancer.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. They have to push that shit up the hill.
No, but you can buy lead-lined sheetrock.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, good times. But yeah, I think doing something like that, whether it be, it's like, How do we know? How do you test it? Right? Like, what's the test? What's a matrix that you use?
Well,
to
we put all our
create-
electronics down there. Then we're gonna have to set off a small nuclear device in the atmosphere.
Not a problem.
And just see, right?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Is it true that inside a Faraday cage your cell phone won't ring?
Who fucking knows? Gosh darn it! Sorry, Brent. Yeah, it's I don't know. They say you can make one with like a garbage can and tinfoil and wood and a bunch of other crap, and you put all this stuff together.
I don't
and
think tinfoil is going to do it. I think you need lead. Can you get a lead trash can these days? Like, in 2024,
there's a recipe for creating one out of.
Does anybody have a trash can from 1942?
But like,
made out of lead?
I don't know that that's a metric that you'd want to say like, okay, I mean, certainly like
betting the farm
if that's the case, like why would they be selling them for tens of thousands of dollars when you can make one for tens of dollars?
By chicken wire and ground wire.
Like, so I mean, there's companies that like put in a lot of money, but those little Faraday bags, I mean, maybe that's got
right.
some
Put your handhelds in your, like, the base station itself is very small. It's literally, I don't know, 5 inches by 5 inches.
It wouldn't hurt, I guess. Either way, it wouldn't hurt to try and give it, and if it all of a sudden it does, then you're like, man.
Oh, well. Yeah, no better off than if I hadn't tried.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you're with 99% of the population whose electronics don't work.
Well. Start eating the geese off the lake.
Yeah, you're set, dude. What's that one thing in Crocodile Dundee where he it's like a string and a piece of wood and he spins it around and
makes that sound?
Yeah.
I forget.
We just got to figure
I just
that
want to
out.
do the thing where it's like,
with the dogs.
Oh, with the dogs?
Yeah.
Does that work on women?
I've tried. It doesn't.
Depends where you put it.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Been doing it wrong this whole time.
Here's my Faraday cage.
I saw a knife. What?
Oh, shit. All right, let's take a pee break.
Be right.
Sounds good. What was that about, too? Oh, you good?
What, the cat shit coffee?
Cat shit coffee, dude.
Are we revisiting this? Yeah, we've already covered that.
Bird law and lomi and all that.
Sumatran cat shit coffee. Yeah. I forget what we were talking about before the break, but we were kind of nerding out on optics over the break.
And knives.
Mm-hmm. And knives.
Yeah.
Now might be
spotting.
Quick time to mention
and turkey calling.
the 22 trans challenge.
That's right.
Which I'm not even sure I'm going to paint it. I kind of like the way it looks right now. I put a Vortex 1 through 6 on my 1022. And I'm going to go ahead and say that 1 through 6 might be the perfect scope for a 22 rifle.
I would agree.
It's going to be really fun just banging steel targets with it on 1X, firing away with those.
It does seem like a good marriage.
Yeah. And 6X is plenty enough to reach out. I mean, what's max effective range of a 22? Like 70
386 yards.
386. Yeah.
Depends on. Are you shooting downhill?
Yes.
Then yep, 386.
What I can tell you is that my hunting data of ground squirrels at the hazelnut farm is that 70 yards is about as far as you can put them down with one shot. After that, you hit them, but they fall. They just scurry down their hole and probably die later.
You lose momentum and speed and power.
Yeah, you just don't have the
kill,
the inertia when
it
it arrives at target after 70 yards.
Kinetic energy.
That's
where you pick up what in a 17 HMR next.
But just because of the proximity to the neighbors. Those things have so much velocity.
I'm not.
But yes.
But I'm saying
I have
with a
many
22
times,
lag.
Mike, many times down there in the evenings after a successful squirrel hunt, I've sat and scrolled 17 HMR bolt guns because I want one.
How sweet would it be to make a little squirrel jacket or something, dude?
Yeah. Like a bulletproof squirrel jacket?
No.
Hang on.
Where you can
You're
test
talking about
ballistics?
You're talking about collecting enough pelts to make a jacket.
Or like a pillow, dude. A throw pillow?
Squirrel.
I don't know, man. Those things are covered in fleas and so
are bear.
Squirrel.
So are bear.
You know where you see that?
So was Lenny before we took care of him.
It's true.
He was
rabbit.
covered in poop and
his own
dude.
shit. You know what I liked
Mud.
is that the other day when I saw you on the freeway, you still had straw from that sheep on your bumper.
No, that was a different bunch of straw. I pick up straw for the backyard so the dogs don't track in mud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so
that makes sense.
But it is growing grass now, so it's been there a while. What were you saying earlier about taking care of your stuff?
Got straw.
Yeah.
I got grass. I
got
have sod.
I got
in the
real
back
quiet.
of my truck.
Yeah, and I started it from seed. Yeah, so that I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, and I got a feeling I'll be ordering a 1-6 as well.
Okay.
I'll have to look at Vortex's new scopes or just see what they got.
They have a
maybe
new
even
budget 1-6 called shit. It's the Venom. So the Strike Eagle, took a jump up in quality, and that's what's on my rifle.
Oh, they started
That new 1-8 first focal plane. It was a leap forward from the old Strike Eagle. And so then they let the old Strike Eagle die and they replace, it's sort of a weird way to run your product line because they elevated their old budget line to a little bit higher price point and a higher
They did
quality.
the same thing with Toyotas.
And then they created a new line that's their new budget line. It's like, why wouldn't you just create the new line in between? But anyway.
People started trusting it.
That's a long explanation to say there's a new budget 1-6.
I gotcha. Yeah, well, I'll have to check it out. That's the one that you put on that? Is that the Venom?
No, that's a demo they sent me a couple of years ago. That's a Viper, so that's their little bit higher line.
Okay, yeah. Well,
not quite the Razor like Mike Kozak has on his AR.
But not the Strike Eagle that I have on mine.
Yeah, or mine.
I like that Strike Eagle, dude. I do.
Honestly, I don't know why you would want anything more.
Yeah,
it
works.
On my.
I feel comfortable throwing it around. I don't feel like I'm going to break it, and I don't feel like if I broke it, I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
So, granted, their warranty is, bomb-proof.
Anything.
So
it's literally, no matter what goes wrong, they'll replace it.
Yeah, but either way,
yeah. I
would rather not have to.
And I've tested. By the way, I've tested that warranty now like 3 times, and I'm. Yeah. So I've broken some shit. And every time it's been
pleasant.
Replaced. It's been a pleasant experience.
So I got the site, and apparently a lot of Guinness was spilled down it. Can you replace it?
Yeah, I have no clue.
They'll still, hold it up.
It can be. I backed over it with my truck, or I got angry because I couldn't hit anything at 100 yards, and I threw my rifle, and now I need a new optic, and it's like, no,
fucking Biden, dude.
Yeah,
smashed it.
Yeah.
They're like, we got you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Donald Trump broke my scope.
Love it. I'll send you 2.
Yeah, I think I started looking.
Are you going nuts on this build thing, Jordan?
He can't help himself. Are you kidding me? Of all people who are, he's pretending to play it cool. Of all people, I knew I was going to snag with this. I didn't know if you would participate at all. I knew I knew my little buddy.
I'm going to clean it real good for you. But that's about all I'm doing on this build.
I am a sucker for. I know you. Like as soon as we said it, I could feel like you're like, come on,
come on, dorks,
like you nerds. And I love 22s. I love them. So it's like I started looking heavily into different like. I started looking at Volquartsen, and I'm like, oh,
I just put a Volquartsen extractor in my 1022 today.
And I was looking at the barrels. I was like, if I get a Volquartsen, if I get one of those, that or like a Kid makes really good stuff. But they have like
you're looking at match barrels.
I was looking at them all, dude. I'm looking at carbon fiber barrels, and I'm like, just in case I need to hike up for these squirrels. Yeah. And I'm like, in case I got to put some miles in.
Just in case they're not 100 yards from the porch.
Then I might just have to have a super light. And then I was like, well, I want a heavy bull barrel.
Then I'll bring it deer hunting with me.
So then I'm looking at
even the heaviest of bull
Tactic.
barrel 22s is the lightest of carbon fiber high caliber. So it's like no matter what.
That 1022 is pretty fucking heavy.
That's it.
That's what I mean. And it's still
little chunk.
a bull barrel, right?
But
the heaviest of 22 is like what, 4 pounds,
bro? Yo, dude,
That's a 9-pound rifle over there. I bet.
is it really?
Yeah.
that's a
Actually,
good
that's
size.
more than my hunting rifle.
Yeah.
It's
It's a heavy
good
rifle.
size. But I mean, look, think about that. It's a bull barrel.
Ammo
That's
is
a
gonna
22.
weigh nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love 22 so much
fun.
and the fact
This is Sunday's little stress shoot is going to be fucking fun.
are you bringing the 22? Is that?
Yeah, it's a 22 rifle stress shoot.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You didn't hear this
We
part?
better tell Anthony because I think he's got his 308. He's so jacked up about
That's
it.
his new right. If he wants to shoot 308, I don't really care. Yeah, that's fine.
There's $2.
And actually, I got to call out. Rachel asked me not to tell you guys, but I'm going to tell you anyway. She does not, and her husband, they do not own a 22.
What?
And she was like, Matt, because Matt's coming out. So she's like, which gun should he bring? I said, bring a 22 rifle. She's like, well, we don't own one. We have, and she listed off what they owned. And I said, I'm going to make fun of you with Mike and Jordan. And she said, please don't. And I said, okay, I won't. But now I am.
Oh man, Rachel, what the heck?
Every crew's got a couple communists apparently, and communists don't have 22.
Yeah, well,
Even
she's got an
liberals have
Uzi and
22
an
rifles.
Yeah.
She's got an AK.
I don't know what she has. She listed off a few things.
Yeah, she said, I got this 50 cal,
That's right.
but no 22.
We got a tax stamp so we could have a belt fed.
But
no 22 long
do you
rifle.
guys, I when I think of Rachel, like with guns and like all the stuff, you guys remember the movie Tremors?
Yeah, of course.
You remember like the gun guys? And
The old guy that has like the basement.
Bert?
That's it. Yeah,
Bert?
Yeah,
Bert.
That's Rachel in her basement. Like,
Oh, might be.
like I got a couple.
Yeah.
and she like goes down there, but
Just
no
a whole
20,
room.
no
Yeah,
22,
but no 22.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Did Sarah Connor have a 22?
She should have. She
She
probably,
should have.
Yeah.
She should have.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. It is without question. A 1022 is arguably the best rifle ever made.
Yes. No, it's my favorite. It is hands down the greatest firearm ever manufactured.
But I also feel like it's the
And
marijuana. It's the gateway drug. There's no way
but
you're
at the
going to
end,
shoot
at the end, it's the
AR.
one you come back to.
But there'd be no way you'd shoot an AR without having shot a 22 first. It's like every black
hang on.
belt's
You're
going to be
talking
a
about
white
how to
belt.
learn, and I'll
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that you should
but that's
learn, no.
So it should be in your arsenal.
Yes.
If you've ever
But you
shot
should
or
not
be into hunting,
You should not be learning on a 1022. You should be learning on a bolt 22. And that's what when people like if
but
you
my finger's too fast.
cricket.
I need more rounds.
not even a cricket like
the cricket.
I bought the boys a
cricket is
Ruger American
Oh, that's a perfect one.
rimfire.
Yeah.
And it actually uses
Bolt
the same
action?
magazines as my 1022, which is nice. So we can share magazines. It's a bolt action gun. And so both boys have learned to shoot on a bolt action 22 rifle, which is the correct like path. Like if you're somebody who cares about this and it's something you want to teach your kids,
I didn't
the
learn
first
to
gun you
shoot
learn
on
on
a
is a
bolt.
bolt action 22.
Why?
Well,
so you
and
work
look at
the
how you shoot,
mechanical
Mike.
slack.
Well, listen.
Well, that hurt.
Listen to Tobin's reasoning because it does make sense. Like, and it's like, okay, that's
It's to slow
Sound.
down and work on the fundamentals in the safest manner possible. And a bolt gun is safer than a semi-auto because if they pull the trigger and then have a moment, they're having a moment with essentially an empty chamber.
What about a BB gun? Do you consider a BB gun kind of the same?
Let me give you their
like,
progression.
Yeah.
When they were 7 years old, I bought them a Red Ryder. They're 3 years separate. So each boy got a Red Ryder for their 7th birthday, and they had to memorize their 4 safety rules, and then they had to shoot supervised by me or Jen or like one of my brothers, somebody.
An adult.
Yeah. And then eventually they earned the right to shoot by themselves through demonstrating like
proper behavior.
proper behavior.
Safety.
Yeah. And the lesson that taught me was that when I give the kids responsibility, they rise to it. So that was like a big thing, especially for Nathan to be able to take his BB gun out
Two-way
in the
street,
backyard.
you learn.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, now because I gave him responsibility, he became very responsible. And that's why I had no problem. Like he was 11 when we went hunting last fall. I had no issue giving him a loaded 243 around 3 friends because I know.
And I didn't feel weird about it either.
No.
I felt very confident.
He is very competent in it because when he was young, he learned his rules. He learned how to properly walk around with it. And then because I gave him that responsibility probably a year later and said, hey, man, you can take your BB gun out in the orchard. I'm going to check in on you once in a while. Your safety, you'd better be all over it, or the BB gun goes away for like a month. You know what I mean? So then, and I don't even think it was him reacting to the threat of consequence. I think it was him rising to the responsibility that was given to him and feeling freedom. Like that. Yeah, that puffs out your chest a little bit, and like you walk with your shoulders up, back, and your head up, and it's like I have demonstrated to my dad that I have the correct behavior. I earned this. I earned to walk out in the orchard with this BB gun and go shoot birds, right? And then so same thing with the 22 now. So when he turned, I can't remember, it was 10 or 11, I got him a 22 rifle, and same thing. He had to shoot it from a bench, rested on a backpack, or laying in the prone with it rested on something, no standing up. And that's when we started to concentrate on things like front sight focus and how to properly grip it, and your breath, and working those breaths, and then finding the sight picture at the exhale and pull the trigger. And that kid can fucking shoot, dude. And I was like, well, all right. I promised him when I got him the 22 rifle that if he mastered iron sight, I said, when you master iron sights, I will buy you a scope to put on this rifle. And I thought, I just bought myself 3 years. I bought myself like fucking 6 months.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the hook to buy him a scope in the spring, which is fine. It's fun.
Well, watching him shoot, because the first time I ever went shooting with you,
yeah,
he was out there shooting.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he was out there shooting.
Was Lando shooting too?
Yes, okay. They were both out there. It was with Stefan and his dad.
Okay. When we went on Green Mountain. Before we had the property.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a long time ago.
Lando was not there. Nathan was very young then.
Well, I thought there was another kid there.
Oh, that was Stefan's son, Lawson.
Oh, okay, Lawson. Okay, so I just remember seeing two of the boys down shooting, and I was just like, this is American as shit.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was just it made me happy because I'm looking at two kids working a bolt action rifle, shooting 22s. Like everything was right with the world. I was just like, this feels good.
Yep.
And then I was like, hey, I got my 1022.
Yeah.
And then that's when you told me, I was like, no, he's doing this because I figured though, it'd be fun for them to like blast off a couple rounds at the 1022. And then you were like, no, he's learning his, and I was like, okay, copy that. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, so they also learn the mechanical function of the rifle too. Like some people think that like if you just keep pulling the trigger, the bolt just keeps going, and it's like, no, you have to understand the mechanical operation of the gun too, and part of that comes from working the bolt and the safety yourself.
Yeah, my it is funny like that. I think the progression, and maybe people disagree with this, but I think like you go from a 1022, which is like everybody's first real like actual rifle. Mm-hmm. I think for the most part, a lot of people just start with a 10 or a 22 in some
22
capacity.
22, yeah.
But I think even before that, like a BB gun.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like when you get your first like gunpowder. This is a real legitimate
start
gun.
with the small,
and then you work your way up, and it's kind of funny because you go through like this big progression with guns, and you get the 22, and then you're like, I'm going to get a 223, or I'm going to get a pistol, or I'm going to do, and you start working your way through these guns, and
or you
get
yourself
like
a shotgun
that,
in high school.
A rifle, right? Like a hunting rifle or something like that. And then at the end of the day, like after you've gone and done, like, I mean, Tobin's shot how many different kinds of guns and like shot, a myriad of targets.
Honestly, not that many different types.
Well, he shot a grenade launcher, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't care about the types of guns.
Single shot and belt fed.
So you know what a small percentage of the population has done anything like that is fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So you've gone and done all this stuff, and then you come back, and it's like, I just want my 22.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
at the end, the gun I'm happiest about is my 1022.
Well, you end up realizing it's all about the journey. Like the 22 is the journey, right? Like it's everybody's think the destination's that 300 Win Mag that I want so bad, and then you're like, but boy, do I just love shooting that 22. Even if you got that 300 Win Mag.
Yeah, you're still looking at your 1022 over there in the corner, going like,
that's my main girl. That's my first girl.
Yeah,
that's my first girl when I felt like a man.
But that's what I mean. Like every accomplished shooter, someone that's really into guns has always had like a 22. And like, just like every white belt, every black belt has a white belt. I feel like that you go back to what is like when people get really good, they're like, go back to the fundamentals, like work on shrimping and like, how do I get up? Like there is something nice about going back to the basics and honing it because it makes your more advanced.
Well, it's just like you were saying about your movement drill that you do in the beginning of all the practices. Yeah. That is what it is. It's basics. What does my balance feel like?
Yeah. And the 1022, there's not a lot of like recoil and so like
you can feel what you're doing.
So you get a little bit more keyed up, like it's like a dry fire drill where you get to notice it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that dude.
That's why you're a black belt.
Well, yeah, we're just sitting here, just soaking it in, brother.
You see it one thing, you see it in everything. My bad.
Yeah. Well, the AR it's the Tippmann.
Yeah.
That thing is, I love that.
Yeah.
But
I need to buy one before they're illegal in Washington.
And yeah, you can go.
That's a good trainer for the boys, just for the function of how. Though I've let Nathan now shoot the ARs. He's pretty because he keeps showing competence.
I don't think you need one to keep him like. If anything, it would just be to lower the cost of training.
Yes.
As opposed to.
That's what I'm saying. To let him,
he doesn't need it.
But he would enjoy doing ready up drills.
Yeah,
and
but
to let him do that for the cost of blasting 22 rounds versus 5.56 rounds, that would be, yeah.
But you could go that Tippmann, or you could go with the
there's a Smith and Wesson. Yours, I've shot both. Yours was significantly higher quality.
Yeah, and I think that, and you can still get them. I believe you could still order those in Washington because that whole deal was like for center fire. So if you guys hurry up,
you can still buy high capacity 22 mags.
I don't know what the number is,
but it's a rim. It's all hot, all magazine capacity.
Is that? Okay, yeah. So gotcha. They got us on that.
Gotcha.
I was going to say Glock also makes a 19,
and I'm going to get that
chambered in. It's not the Glock 9, it's Glock whatever, but it's same dimensions as a 19 chambered in
Glock,
22 LR.
But can't you get
Glock
conversion?
22. I think they call it the Glock.
No, 22 is a full size 40.
Then it's the Glock.
That's what I have.
What the fuck is it? It's the Glock 40.
Who the fuck? Yeah, that would make sense. That the 22 would be chambered in 40, and the 40 would be chambered in 22.
I think
that's how they roll.
We'll get them.
Yeah, we got these guys.
Yeah, but I'd like to get that and those are 10-round magazines regardless. Like you can't get higher capacity because Glock apparently has a tough time with that with their
22
guns.
rounds.
Well, just with
anything in
all of them. It's just what is it? Palmetto State. Mm-hmm. They came out because you have the Glock 43, 48. So the 48. That has 13-round capacity.
No, it came with 10s, but Shield Arms makes a 15.
Okay.
So I have Shield Arms 15s.
Well, but Palmetto State has their compact dagger is what they call their pistol, and it's based on the Gen 3 Glock, and they came out with 15-round magazines that will fit in that as well.
No. Okay.
And they're like half metal.
The Shield Armed ones are all... They're all metal bodies, so that's how they get a thinner sidewall. Plastic has to be thicker. Metal can be thin, so they can make a double stack in the same amount of space.
Yeah, and I think like they use the front or back as plastic. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
I mean, you guys have such bigger guns than I do. Small hands over here. Dude, my little Hellcat holds like 13.
I like my Hellcat.
Yeah.
I have the same one. The thing I dislike about it is that half of the grip is the magazine butt plate. Yeah. And I don't like pistols that do that because I pinch my
It's because you got bigger
palm.
hands.
Yeah. So when I go to reload, I get my skin stuck in there and it hurts like a motherfucker and the magazine doesn't seat. So I wish Hellcat, they made the bigger one.
He gets nauseous.
That I would, and here's, yeah. I like the grip angle and the sights and the trigger of the Hellcat better. I think it's a better pistol than the Glock 48. However, all my friends are carrying fucking Glocks.
I know.
So for the sake of commonality of parts, I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm buying a Glock 48.
It'll be you and me with the Hellcats.
I know. Yeah.
2 guys.
But I wouldn't carry my Hellcat just because, again, that magazine issue. I would get the bigger Hellcat if I were going to carry a Springfield that has a full-length grip so that I weren't pinching my skin and not seating my magazines.
I hear you. For me, it's a full-length grip. Yep. So, like, comfortable.
Even when the magazine's out? It's not like...
No, when it's out, it feels weird.
Yeah, it's right. And so you're going to pinch your
even when I do a normal reload with my Glock, my full-size Glock, it's like I'm kind of opening up my hand to guide things. Because if that magazine is off, I want it to hit my finger. Not like I'm still gripped and I just miss. I want to feed things as I'm moving.
That makes sense.
You know?
That makes sense.
Right. All that to say, the Hellcat is a great pistol. It's just not my choice.
Yeah.
I do want to grab one of those daggers and see what that's like. Maybe it's because I like knives, but
might be
because I mean, honestly, like pistols are pretty reliable now. It's hard to find.
I'm also wanting to turn my 10mm into a home defense pistol because now that I've got a load of that round.
Watch out, neighbors.
Yeah.
Dude,
listen,
you kidding me?
There's part of me hopes somebody breaks in here. Just be like, listen, brother, I got 3 magazines. These each have different rounds in them. So we're going to go one leg, one arm at a time. And we're doing a little experimenting here tonight.
Finding out which one we want. Yeah. But what would you say would make that a home defense?
It is so fucking powerful. And it's in a small package.
Loud. Which you're going to go deaf.
Yeah. But shooting a 9mm. Have you talked to me recently?
Yeah.
It's so loud. Shouldn't that go back to your 22? No, like that is a quiet. It's gonna hurt.
Listen, hang on. So people go with pistols. Like a pistol is so much more maneuverable in your house than say even like a short-barreled carbine. But 9mm is kind of underpowered. So imagine you take the power. Like I have 15-round magazines for my 10mm. So why not put a light and a red dot on it? And now you have a powerful round in a very maneuverable package.
Yeah.
That's like a CQB fucking
yeah. I mean,
monster.
10mm they're legit. Yeah.
He's going to be bleeding from his liver and you're going to be bleeding from your ears.
Overpressure.
Yeah. Where is he?
It's like when we used to fire the Carl Gustav, they're like, you're only supposed to fire 4 rounds a day. And we're like, oh, we did 16. Shit.
I've heard there's some guns that you're supposed to keep your mouth open and shoot them.
Carl Gustav.
Yeah.
So if you don't, the overpressure from the gun itself, it's a recoilless rifle, so there's no backing to it's just a fiberglass tube, and they load these. They look like almost like fucking tank rounds into it, and the guy's just got it on his shoulder, and you got to call back blast area clear, right, and then they fire it. And they would tell the gunners they're only supposed to fire 4 rounds in a 24-hour period, but they would go out to the range and fire like 12 or 16 each. And they would come back to the barracks with like fluid running out of their ears and nosebleeds and shit. And it's like, dude,
it's a hell of a day on the range, boys.
Fuck.
That's crazy.
Wait, so that's from what? The back
from the concussion.
The concussion
of
it.
That shell.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
It was literally like a tank shell.
It's rupturing your inner ear.
And guess what those guys are doing right now? Shooting their 1022s.
Oh, the Gustav turned them back, dude.
Yeah. I did go down the rabbit hole when you started talking about that. Like I
knew I'd get you.
If people truly please send your ideas or your pictures,
I want to see some 1022
like it would be cool. Like I started looking at like because I have the Trek or I have my 22 that I built. I got a takedown 22, which is fun.
What are you going to spend on this? Like Tobin's 22 is like beyond pimped out, and he's still trying to build it.
Oh, dude, probably I don't know 4,000 or 5,000.
Well, I mean, just for the chassis, right?
Get out of it.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be custom, dude.
It was so funny when you saw that, and you're like, "Dude, you're building this out?" And like, what are you gonna do to it? He's like, "No, I've already spent all this money.
Just gotta spray paint it."
No, I mean, when you look at it, like so there are so many mods for it. It's like a Honda Civic. Dude.
Yes.
It's the
there are so many accessories you can get for a 1022. Are you kidding me?
It's the
Cabela's used to have all the cool folding stocks and stuff, and the big banana clips.
They have stocks. They have something called the 1122 now, which is super tight. And so basically,
I feel threatened.
Yeah, so it's one number bigger.
Is it a 22 Magnum?
It's a no, it's a 22. It's a 1022, but the top of the receiver opens, so you can take the bolt out and clean it, and then put it back.
I took my bolt out today.
Of your 22?
Yeah, I had to replace the extractor.
So did you take the stock off and pull all that apart?
It's one bolt. It's literally one bolt.
Okay, so it's not a big deal. And then you had to reseat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Screw the one bolt back in.
And it was just, okay, so you think that taking that versus just having
it was very easy to take apart.
Well, then never mind. I mean, I just thought that's a cool way to do it because you just take and slide this thing off and then pull everything out.
Does it look cooler? Does it look?
It's square. It's really square.
It's going to have a hinge and a fucking break in the receiver.
No, there's no hinge. There's no hinge. It's just a plate, and that plate slides off. It is a weak part, and there could be dust and debris gets in there.
These fucking kids make all the new shit so fucking.
They're just trying. They're out here trying, right? And I appreciate it. So I've looked at that. I've looked at 22s.
When your granddad was killing Nazis with an M1 Garand, did he care about a little?
He did it with knives.
Slid off.
My grandpa used a knife.
Did he need a easy access to his bolt so that he could clean it?
No.
Or did he just clean his fucking bolt and go kill Nazis?
Well, tell you the truth. I don't know what side he was on.
Okay,
Just kidding. He was killing Nazis. He was killing Nazi vag, dude, because he was a stud.
Nazi vag.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Good knobbing hair.
I joke. But yeah, Creek is my last name. Yeah. Apparently my last name means war in German.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Krieg, Kreg.
No, it's like a version of that, and it's like there's some
Jordan War.
Yeah, type it into Google. So I started looking at.
You got family in Argentina, Jordan?
Maybe.
Dude,
can't you tell, dude? I'm so tan. There's 22s that are just like tubes. So when people
ones, you mean?
They try and make them so like backpacker friendly that it's like a carbon fiber barrel, and then the stock folds. And
literally a zip gun. Like you got to put a 10-penny nail in the back and then hit it with your.
Yeah,
it's almost that way, just for going and like hiking around and shooting squirrels.
Sights on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you see those weird survival guns.
But
that
I mean,
are like
a red dot,
breakdown,
little red dot on something like that, and it's
really?
like,
yeah.
I mean, and they weigh like ounces, and it's just a little bolt. There's all kinds, but I think I know what I'm going to go with, and it's not going to be crazy. I think, because the only 1022 I have right now is a takedown.
Oh yeah,
and supposedly those they're not going to be as accurate, right? Because you have
your very thin barrel too, right?
I mean, it's a 22, which is kind of
Don't heat up too much.
Yeah, it's not going to heat up super bad, but the takedown, like you're taking a barrel on and off a rifle.
Yeah,
and there's going to be some play there. Yes. So I think I'm going to get one of those, just a receiver, and call it good. Okay. But you can go down, like I said, thousands of dollars you can spend on a 22, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm looking at this, and then I'm going, I should have been a biathlete, right? And done the cross country skiing and shooting the 22. Yeah. I was like, I really missed my calling on that.
I struggled for a second with the biathlete.
Isn't that a biathlete?
Yeah, you're probably right. I thought it was like some
trans.
I'm like, biathlete?
Yeah, some are trans, dude.
I should have been a biathlete. I'm like, yeah, I guess you should have.
I'd have taken state.
Yeah, no, that would have been a perfect thing for it. You would have really excelled.
Man, sorry guys, these coffee beans are really getting to me. Yeah. How about you? You're just gonna clean your gun?
I'm cleaning my gun for it.
Is it a 1022?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Of course. 10.
Can you at least spray paint it?
It's a wood stock though. Like, what do I do?
Carve something into it.
Yeah.
That's the
Mike and Danielle forever. Sweet mod, dude.
the cool thing about a wood stock is you
could duct tape a flashlight to the front or something.
You could carve
Like
the
a mag
number
light.
of kills you have into it. Every time you get a little kill,
Little
that's
notch.
kind of a little notch.
Every squirrel.
Oh yeah,
That's
Little
actually
notch
kind
on
of
the
sweet.
Dope. Or put little like
I don't know.
We'll have to get you some little small squirrel stickers, like the remember the squirrel stickers, like the fighter planes in World War II. Every time they downed a Nazi, they painted a little Nazi on the nose. You can put a little squirrel sticker on your buttstock for every one you take down.
That'd be hilarious.
Maybe
Just a
scope.
bunch of acorns.
If anything, a scope, and I have a couple old banana clips on it, which is nice. I got a couple 30 and 45 rounders, so it's kind of cool to have on there. And I've taken it sage rat hunting. I've taken it just for regular target shooting. I've used it around the property to shoot rabbits, It is what it is. It's that gun that you have like on a farm.
You put it in the back of the gator.
But I've never had a problem with it. It's always been consistent, and that's kind of the thing about it. So it's like I've never really needed to change it. It's iron sights. Maybe it jams because I haven't cleaned it ever. So I'm like, let me step it up, boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll show you
my A game.
fuckers how to shoot.
To wipe the carbon off of here.
Scrape it off.
Get ready.
You get a little chisel in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 1022 to me, it's like I'm not going to spend that money. Whereas for me, archery
you should not.
Or like rifle. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just certain things get me off. Just like,
you hit a good point, which is that the 1022 should be a farm gun. If you spend money on it to the point that you're, like I said, we weren't recording, were we? I think when I was telling you guys, my dad liked that rifle so much that he asked me at one point, he's like, can you just leave this here so that I can use it for shooting squirrels? And so I was like, okay, yes. Yeah. And the next time I went down, I found it like in the gator. Like that's obvious. Like it's half covered in leaves and shit.
It lives
and it's
there.
Like, yeah, this is where he keeps it. Yeah. And so I didn't say anything. So I was like, it makes him happy. You know what I mean? And then like,
glad I opted for that stainless steel barrel then.
yeah, exactly. Like,
You son of a bitch.
a couple months later, I'm down there again, and it's just like jammed between the seat on the tractor and the frame. You know what I mean? I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah. But it's moving around with them.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
At the same time, here we are. I bought that gun after our first or second deployment to Afghanistan, so it's at least 20 years old, and it still is a tack driver at 80 yards.
Yeah.
And that's all you want.
Farm equipment.
So that's a gun that's been farm proven.
That's the beauty of those things.
Yeah.
It just keeps ticking, dude.
So when I was saying earlier, like when you're talking about shooting 70 yards and then it kind of gives up, and that's where 17 HMR comes in. They make a 22 mag, right? I know they make a pistol that's a 22 mag. Jordan, all of us.
It's the 22 mag and the 17 HMR have pretty similar like muzzle velocities and impact energies. And what it came down to for me when I was shopping them was 17 HMR was significantly cheaper.
Than a 22 mag?
The ammunition was.
What's a 22 mag? Is it still the same bullet tip, but just a huge charge of powder?
Yes, exactly. It's the same tip and like twice as long casing.
Just a Magnum, just a regular Magnum of powder. Yep. Okay,
but literally the ballistics were so comparable that I just went, okay, what's the cheaper ammo to buy?
Yeah.
And 17 HMR was cheaper.
And 17 HMR is a bigger actual projectile that hits
smaller, 0.17, so it's smaller around, but then it actually has a necked casing on it.
It's literally like the pellet guns.
Yeah,
0.177.
Oh,
it's that,
but it just has a small rifle case.
It's nasty. Yeah,
it has a lot of powder.
Velocity's everything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is flying.
Yep.
They're rad, but you start.
And if we lived somewhere like Wenatchee
like
where we had open,
wide
distances, that would be a really fun gun to have.
Well, I took it to the sage rat hunt. I went on.
Okay.
And I was having so much fun with my 22 at like 70 to 90 yards, just using my little Boone and Crockett's, And then someone gave me a 17 HMR, and I was hitting these sage rats at 100 yards, and they were cartwheeling.
Actually, we have it was my dad's. We have a lever action 22 Magnum, and when you hit a squirrel with those, it's done.
Yeah.
So it's very comparable, the two?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's what? A 22 is like, what, 30 grains, 32 grains, something like that. And I think the 17 HMR is like 25.
Okay.
So I don't think the charge or the amount of honestly, I'm talking out of my ass right now. I think the amount of speed comes from just a smaller projectile. Where like
it has a lot of it has a neck
powder
casing, which
and
means it has a lot
reduction
of powder.
in nozzling, just like water. If it comes out a straight pipe or a
You
pipe
neck it
that
down
necks
to a
you're going to
smaller-
get extreme pressure.
smaller.
But that same thing carries with ballistics and projectiles.
Yeah, it's the magnums look pretty cool though. I will say.
The 22 mag, or
Just
just a long straight.
A long
What do you think damage wise that's comparable to? Like compared to getting shot with a 9 millimeter?
a 45.
No.
Probably.
No, 45
Probably a
is
10
gonna-
Probably a
millimeter
300
even.
Win mag.
Probably a 10 millimeter. Yeah.
It's no grass.
Yeah. I'm thinking about making it my home defense. Personally, it'd be fun to get one of those. What is it? The Wrangler, the Ruger Wrangler. It's a wheel gun.
Oh shit!
That's a
The
22.
little 22 one.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Single or double action?
I think they're a single action.
Oh, so it's like a cowboy gun.
Yeah.
No, okay. Yes.
Oh,
yes. Correct.
100%.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a blast. And they're like $200. That's the beauty of 22. It's just
They're cheap
they're a
as
little cheaper.
Yeah.
They're gonna last. They're not gonna break on you. Like,
But no one cares about how many bullets are like if you have a fucking wheel gun of 22 because they're like, you're not going to take anyone over using a 22.
that's what they think, dude.
With but it's hard to shoot down a plane with a 22.
Yeah. So 180 grains.
That's a huge bullet.
That's yeah. That's
We're
a good
looking at
size.
some 10 millimeter ammo. I just happen to have sitting here.
Yeah. So that versus the 9. There's a big difference between the 9 and the 10 millimeter, which is
way more powder.
It's way more powder. It's
That
more
brass
of a bullet.
jacketing goes up so high.
Yeah, and that's a self defense 9 millimeter round, so it's probably like 140 grains. So the 10 millimeter is what, 180?
180,
Yeah. And a shitload more powder.
Yeah. No, the 10 millimeters they're legit.
Yeah.
They're legit. And I wouldn't be surprised if like the cops didn't switch to 10 millimeter or law enforcement didn't, because it doesn't feel
Dude,
like it's
every
that
shooting
pistol-
is
hang
a
on.
kill.
That pistol is so big that I would think that females or even men with small hands would have a tough time gripping it.
Mike.
And
Why don't
there's
you-
going to be a lot more recoil.
I didn't feel like there was that much more.
Recoil isn't the factor. To me, everything about personal carry, EDC, is about comfort.
Well, for a police, he's talking police officers where it's on the outside of their belt, and so that it can be as like might as well carry a big duty frame. But unless it's so big that it doesn't fit in your hands, and I don't see a lot of women fitting that gun in their hands.
Probably not.
What is it, a 5-inch or 4-inch barrel? Oh, God, dude.
Unless
It's at least 6, Mike.
at
I think
least,
I think
dude.
it's 5, 4.5.
Yeah.
I mean,
She doesn't need to know.
That sounds like how the conversation really starts. 6, 5, 4, 4.5.
on a good day.
Wait, what are we talking about?
dude.
I was
But
so
the power, dude. But it's the power.
Yeah.
You know how many grains
I was
got
so
there?
proud of myself at work. I took one of our friends' tape measures, and I took a Sharpie marker and I closed the 3 in to say 8. And I was like, "Hey, check it out." Held it up to my crotch. 8 inches, boys.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic work site joke, dude.
Thank God I work on construction sites.
Yeah, it's the greatest. But the back to the 1022. Guys, yeah, bigger's not always better, dude. It's the journey. What do you think about a 22 legitimately for like a home defense situation?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay, let me tell you a story.
Have you
ever seen those life cards?
Life cards.
Yeah, so there's a gun manufacturer that's called Life Card, and it's like literally, it looks like a credit card, like a thick credit card,
yeah. Single shot.
Yeah, and it's a single shot.
Yeah.
And they make like the 17 HMR, a 22 long rifle, and a 22 Magnum, right? 22 Magnum.
Okay.
And I guess there was I was in Darrington. There's a little gun shop up there, and I was checking it out, and I was like, oh, look at that. Let me see that thing. And I'm looking at it, and the guy was like, yeah, we sold one to a lady, and she took it home. She put it in her purse kind of thing, and somebody broke into her house and had a gun, was telling her, like, give me your stuff, like, kind of threatening her. And she was like, oh, and she's digging through her purse and, like, pulls this thing out, and the guy's sitting there, like, looking at her with a gun, and she just opens it up, points it at him, and shoots him, and canoes this dude.
No shit.
Yeah, and it was just a life card.
So you got to realize how lucky of a shot that is.
Yeah.
You could
to fumble through your credit card.
It probably doesn't have great sights.
She
She probably doesn't know what she's doing, and she pointed it and shot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm
the
not-
fact
I'm
that
not
you keep
saying
it
it-
with your credit cards.
I'm not saying.
is
Well,
crazy.
it was
Yeah.
keeping it in her purse. Like, I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I'm just
I would
saying,
also wonder about the mechanics of that thing, how safe it is.
I-
Just have it just pow, like while you're standing in Costco or something.
I look at something like, well, it folds up on itself,
and hopefully
so
the
it
firing
locks.
pin folds out of the way.
I
don't
think
know.
the firing pin doesn't open until, like, you cock it back and pull
Okay.
it. Like, I think it's such a, like, low budget situation, like $160 or whatever. You know, I just think it's kind of amazing that actually worked. You know, versus like an actual gun. I'd rather you have that cowboy action.
So you repeat that 1,000 times, and 999 she'll miss wide, right, or left.
It doesn't work. She gets canoed and
Yeah.
taken. Yeah, I just think it's kind of a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
Either way, I'm going to say no.
No, okay, well, 22 doesn't work. But
Yeah, I've seen those folding guns, which is weird. It makes me think once again, like, about the backpacking, like those takedown 22s where it looks like a pipe and a fucking
another pipe.
iron spike. Yeah. Two pipes screwing together. But it's like, that's kind of also the thing with those 22s. But then it's like, you look at how small 22s do get. Like, isn't like a Lady Dillinger? Were
the
they
poker guns?
Yeah,
the little
those were
two-barrel.
22s. But it was something like you're talking
I think
about.
those were
that,
more for like just shooting the guy who's challenging you, and so you could grab your money and get the fuck out of Dodge.
But that's what I mean. In those kind of confrontations or something, like if you have something just so small, just
it was like
away.
a break contact weapon. It wasn't meant necessarily to kill.
But man, I think that's what the point of the 22 for self-defense was. You're not killing, but you're
Now the
it's
OSS
like a
was
flashbang.
Yeah, you're hurting. Yeah, it's a firework.
Yeah.
It's that little smoke.
Yeah.
Drop the smoke
Ninja
and-
smoke.
yeah.
Yeah, OSS agents, however, in World War II were issued high standard 22 pistols integrally. So the 22 pistol I have is a high standard, just like what they were issued, except it's not suppressed. So for the sabotage agents who were parachuted in behind Nazi lines, they were given
A lot of Nazi talk tonight.
Yeah, a lot of Nazi talk. They were given those high standard 22 pistols to whack German guards.
Yeah. But that's also, like I was saying, like imagine shooting that 10 millimeter
So
in
hang
your
on. Okay,
bedroom
so hang on.
and shooting
So
a
now,
22
if
in your
you've
bedroom.
got a contact shot, like you're sneaking up on someone from behind, 22 is highly effective because it doesn't cause an exit wound in the skull. It actually rattles around and ricochets.
fill them up.
Yeah. Well, no, one round is going to ricochet multiple times inside the skull, so it kind of crisscrosses through the brain tissue.
Imagine
and is actually really effective. That's why butchers use them in like cattle and like when
pigs.
when we butchered that sheep on New Year's Eve.
When we have our date, those who come out will know.
That was cryptic.
No, when we're gonna do our lamb.
Oh, you're right.
Next
We
road.
need to get serious about
Yeah,
the
we're
pasture to table.
Yeah.
That was super spooky, though, the way
the way it sounds.
When we have our date, those will know.
No, I'm afraid to go hunting with Jordan. Hey, Mike, you ever read about those guys that disappeared?
Telling those stories.
Well, okay, so let me tell you this. I'm pretty positive. What was the killer that, like, the California guy who was like the heartthrob kind of guy that apparently
Bundy?
Not Bundy, the other
wasn't
one,
California.
the Mexican looking cat, dark hair, glasses, like long hair. He was killing
Manson.
No, gosh darn it. Anyway, he was
the one Patton Oswalt's wife?
No. Whatever. Some dude. It was on Netflix, but the guy was using a 22, and then the time he switched from a 22 to like was it a 25 or some other weird small caliber gun?
Someone heard it and caught him.
It didn't work. Like he shot some lady and it like went out like the side of her head and she was fine. And so
it had an exit wound.
Yeah, so then he switched back to the 22 and started killing again. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is 22's proven.
Choice of serial killers.
I mean, it is weird to think about it, using it for a self-defense. Like, imagine that 10 millimeter. Like I said, you're going to go deaf. Like, that's something I think about in war all the time. Like, those Peleliu books. It's
What?
Like, how are all those guys not just riddled
Talk
with
up for Tobin.
Helen Keller syndrome?
Yeah.
Smelling what?
Yeah, exactly.
I
but
do-
it's like, you shoot a 22, I can shoot that all day
No,
in
I'm
my
Tobin.
room. Yeah. Right here.
I think there is definitely something to that because I mean, but I think in the heat of a moment, because you guys weren't wearing earplugs.
No, it was a Toyota.
It was a Hilux,
Yeah.
Hilux, but
Diesel.
But did you guys really like? You guys just went out no ear pro, right?
Yes. So this is one of the fucked up things about the Army in the early 2000s. So when I joined the Army, we were in the Clinton era. I joined at the end of 99. So that was the end of the Clinton era right before Bush 43 was elected and pre 9/11. So the budget was fucking nothing. Like we were using old Vietnam era LCE equipment. We had a few chest rigs. I was lucky. I was in a platoon that had nice chest rigs because we were like the test platoon. But half the guys were using chest rigs that had been hand sewn in the squad room down the hall, just using industrial sewing machines and then nylon, like what do they call it, like Dura 8300, whatever the fuck. But we didn't have, like, dude, we were always out of toilet paper. We would have to go buy, like, we're making $300 a month. We would have to go buy like our own toilet paper because the Army, for whatever reason, would not buy enough TP. And we never had fucking earplugs, which now that I'm in construction and I know they cost penny, like you can buy 1,000 earplugs for $4.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
Do you?
Yeah, yes, I do. But if you fucking earplugs were so hard to come by that if you got a pair, you safety pinned them inside your hat. And you just saved them for like months. And then if like
Get all fucking crusty.
yeah, exactly. These nasty ass earplugs. And then let's say Greg would like lose his earplugs. Be like, fuck, dude, I lost my earplugs. Like, hang on, bro, I got you. And then you'd cut them in half. So you each had half an earplug. Yeah. And then you'd save those safety pinned inside your hat. And go to Afghanistan. And it's like we're shoving 5.56 casings into our ears. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then fast forward 10 years later to when, you know, all these companies were making money off of basically taxpayer dollars for all the equipment in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now everybody's got a set of Sordins or Peltors or whatever, you know, clipped to their helmet. And it's like, every fucking troop in Iraq has a $1,500 helmet, and that's not including the cost of the nods.
9/11 changed that military budget from old Vietnam stuff to now. Look at what happened to the United States, and
no, those were Toyotas. They were diesel.
We didn't
have Peltors when I was overseas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to get a set of nods though.
Fucking hell yeah!
But
even a single PVS 14 just to mount on top of your rifle behind your optic.
Just eat more carrots.
Yeah, I might have to go all out on this 22 build.
Oh, we're going thermal.
Well, dude, some of the videos of guys running thermal under night vision.
Thermal's cool, but it's
for hog hunters.
I can't even afford a PVS 14. I'm not buying thermal.
Well, I forget. I thought thermal was a little bit cheaper.
No, it maybe a garbage thermal. Like you have to
Yeah,
realize
but I'm
some
not
of
gonna
it's
put-
only effective out to like 50 feet. If you want thermal that's
You know how many
effective out to
rats we could
300
see
yards,
in this yard from 50 feet?
I feel like you want at least a couple hundred.
you got to at least be able to poach deer.
Yeah. Jeez.
A 500-yard thermal would be
He ain't
nice.
wrong.
But aren't like the thermals for coyote? You see a lot of those scopes for coyote hunting, and it's like a 500-yard thermal scope for like $3,000.
The Rattler fucking whatever. Yeah.
And that night vision is like $7,000 to $12,000. You're like, what?
I was to say, Courtney offered to hook us up with
What?
like thermal pricing, but it was still like $7,000
Well,
cost.
what if we all pitch in? And then
It's like a divorce. You
whose
get
house
it
do we
every
keep it at?
other weekend.
How come there's fucking cum stains on the thermal?
look, dude. Why is it all crusty again?
God damn it, Kozak.
It's salty.
No.
That would be a hell of a build.
My team.
Love these guys.
My team.
Love these guys. Man. Well,
Yeah, boys.
you boys think this might be about it?
I think we ended on a high note.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
thermals, huh? Come thermals. That's where we end this podcast.
Hang on.
Sorry,
I
Brent.
can
Sorry,
turn it,
Eagles
I can turn it white hot. Watch this. The faster I go, the hotter it gets.
Hold on.
Warming it up as I speak.
Man. That's like
my God.
Like an Indian burn.
All right, guys. If you're enjoying the show, give us a review.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up, huh, guys? All right.
Yeah, hang on. Seriously. The listener numbers have been increasing, which means folks are sharing the show, which I really appreciate. And guys, if you are enjoying it, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple, and please do share it because Training Northwest, and thus by extension the Enlightened Neanderthals and everything we're doing, gets heavily censored on all the channels and all the platforms. So the only way it's going to spread is by you guys sharing it. That's my final word.
Yeah, think about that.
Before you go.
Thank you. Good night.